Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing. Back to another episode of the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Thayer, and with me today is the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young. Today, we're going to talk about maximizing your e-commerce sales. So I guess let's just kick it right off, and let's talk about some of the things that we need to consider if we're going to be selling products on the web. Tom?
Well, I always think about selling products on the web this time of year. It's January 2010. We just finished the holiday season. And of course, it was another great year for e-commerce websites. And a lot of people went to the web in December to buy. We had bad weather in lots of parts of the U.S. And so, you know, it continues to grow and continues to be a very viable way for people to buy products and to get what they need. And so if you're going to sell on the web, and this applies really to companies large and small. Most of our clients are medium-sized. So kind of think about the small to medium-sized business before you start selling online. Let's make sure you have a great product. Make sure you have a good marketing strategy, good brand strategy. Make sure you have a fair budget or lots of time to do web marketing because you're going to need that. And that web marketing includes development, design, and driving traffic. A lot of people, think of web marketing as just driving traffic. Well, no, web marketing includes usability issues, development, design, all those things. So I'm going to assume that you've taken care of that. You've got all those in place, and then we'll talk about some things. Just
to be really, really clear for our listeners out there, basically yes. What you're talking about is a business plan for e-commerce sales, for your website, for the web, doing a specific business plan for that.
Yeah, don't expect the website to take care of a poor business plan for you. It won't happen. The business plan comes first, and it needs to be, a good formula there for success before you start building your e-commerce site. But once you get these elements in place and you really feel good about what you're doing and you've got this good strategy, then, let's start with a three-step process. And step one is going to be, let's get inside the head of the web visitor.
So essentially, this is the marketing portion of it before you start building.
Yes. I mean, you've got the strategy. So now we're ready to start implementing. Before you really are going to be successful, stop and think about the web visitor. Get inside the head of the web visitor. Why do they buy your product? Now, why do they really buy your product? I mean, you have a sense, well, they buy the product because it does this. Well, stop for a second and maybe think about it a little bit deeper than that.
How do they benefits versus features?
Benefits versus features. And also, how do they use your product? How do they really use your product? And one of the things that I think is great about understanding features and benefits is what do they tell their friends and family about the product? A lot of times, the things that we tell our friends and family is not the things that are told to us when a product's marketed. And online, the marketing is so direct. I mean, it's right there. I mean, the communication, the photos, everything's so direct. There's no salesperson. Talk in that language that they use to talk to their friends and family. I think it's a great way to promote your e-commerce and to actually to start thinking about it when you start thinking about how you're going to display products on your website.
Well, it's also a way to get referral business too. So if you think of it that way, what are the people using your product going to tell other people? If they had a great experience, they're going to tell other folks. I mean, there's a lot of examples on the web. I mean, Zappos is one of them. I know we're going to get to that in a few minutes for Zappos.com. But let's take it to the next level. What's the next step?
Well, in thinking about how you get inside the head of the web visitor, think more about what people do and not necessarily what they tell you. Like, for example, if you're doing market research, someone will say, this is what I think about this, and this is what your product means to me. Well, that's great. That's fine. But I think it's much better to get in the real world, see what they do on your website, see what they look at, see what they buy, what they don't buy, and then also get a sense of what they're actually doing in the real world. So make sure if you get inside their head, you understand that. And then your challenge then is to meet the needs of what's going on, to meet the needs of what's going on inside the web visitor's head. And one way to do that, in fact, the first thing that hits e-commerce users is navigation and search, and that would be step two. If step one is getting inside their head, step two is how do you set up your navigation and search? And really that starts with the home page. And any e-commerce website that you look at, most of the times the shopping experience starts at the home page and has an initial impression, and then that impression revolves around two major things. One is, what do they sell? What do they have, that I want to buy? and that quickly translates then into navigation and search. What's interesting to me is that sites like Zappos and Amazon are so cluttered. I mean, even on the home page of Zappos, you might have 100 choices to choose from. So then it becomes this idea of organizing and making it look like you're a robust shopping website, but you're so well organized and so put together, to meet the needs of the user, that it doesn't matter that you're that cluttered, because if they're looking for a specific product, a specific thing, they can find it quickly and then move to purchase. And then once you are looking at products, the clutter part of the site should really be simplified and more focused specifically on the product.
Now, that's also going to be different for different websites. Like, I mean, obviously, when you have a Zappos.com, it's dealing with shoes and clothing. You have an Amazon that sells everything.
Yes.
As long as you have a search bar where you can figure out where you're going, you can at least get to where you're going. There's also other types of e-commerce sites, like Netflix. I would consider Netflix an e-commerce site, and it's very, very targeted. It does one thing. They deal with online delivery of movies and television shows.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's it. So it's very, very simplified. So there are a couple different types.
All those websites do a great job of having a very complex set of products organized very well. So think about navigation and search, how people are going to look at your products. Now, the trend today, and it's continuing to grow, is toward more, not less. I mean, if you, on Zappos, just click on men's sneakers, I mean, it's overwhelming what you're going to see. You're going to see, 50, 100, or to 100 of shoes here. I haven't counted them, but lots and lots of shoes. And it looks like actually 71 pages of shoes. So there might be thousands of shoes just in that one category. So then they allow you to actually go in and sort even more. But I think what Zappos is doing in their understanding of the web visitor is that there's repeat visits to this site. And there is people coming to the site with a very clear intention on what they're looking for and the kind of product that they want to find. And I know that happens on Amazon as well, because Amazon is way too cluttered for random shopping. People coming to Amazon for the most part know what they want and they go in that direction. And then Amazon works to give you complementary products. So the navigation and search have to absolutely be critical to being successful in e-commerce.
I want to throw a wrench in here really, really quick, because we always talk e-commerce, and the behemoth is always Amazon, and now we have Zappos, but there's something that we keep forgetting: QVC.com.
Yeah, okay.
Because I mean, we're talking about, I guess the quintessential shopping network is now online, and they drive everything online as well as TV. So they're selling all their merchandise on television, but then they have to have the branding the same way. What's branded on television needs to be able to be branded online. So I'd like to get your feedback on what you think, Tom, as far as QVC.com, on how they have it laid out, because obviously they have a lot of different items that they sell, and I think they've got a pretty clear view. It's not as cluttered as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it is very clear, and it is huge with a lot of different variety here. But I think that they're certainly going after women, so they know their marketplace, and they got their major categories right across the top. My guess is that people that come here are going to go to a major category, it looks like mostly women, and then take it down from there. But once again, it looks to me, I mean, just being in this field, e-commerce really isn't so much the concept of shopping and browsing as it is the concept of make my life convenient, let me get to the product quickly, let me see related products maybe, but let me kind of hone in and narrow my search.
And I think with QVC.com, the biggest thing that they've got going for them is when their customers log in, they're logging in because they saw today's special value on television.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's one of their first tabs on the navigation bar on the left-hand side.
And there might be an impulse purchase that goes with that. But once you've got, I mean, if you get inside the head of the web visitor to help implement your strategy, and then you have great navigation and search capabilities, and the third area is product presentation. And really want to stress here, simple, clear product presentations and the importance of photos in your presentation along with bullet points.
And great photos, not just Here's
really
taken
think,
with my
absolutely
my iPhone. I took a picture with my iPhone for my photo on my e-commerce site. Professional photos.
Yes, absolutely, and that you really can't have enough photos to really sell your product. And if you look at it like on QVC, the handbag section, they've really taken the time here to get some really good photos. And if they want to sell these ladies handbags, I mean, even if the woman knows the bag they want, the photos really reinforce the concept of what's the color look like, what's the leather look like, what does it look like in the inside, all of that. And then bullet points, you can see that along with tabs, but you can have a lot of copy in your product description. In fact, I like to have the idea of a few bullet points on the front, but then behind that, you can have volumes of copy to help sell a product, and I think that does work on the web. Of course, you want to have clear pricing, very clear buy now buttons that stand out for 10 out of 10 visitors. And then multiple ways to contact you. One of the things that e-commerce websites don't do that well is give multiple options to buy. Even QVC, you have to go find the 800 number in case you want to call and you have a question or whatever.
They do at least have it at the bottom of the page. If you scroll down to the bottom, they do have it. It says right there, order toll free anytime by calling.
And so does Zappos has that as well. I'm not sure if Amazon does the 800 number. I don't think they do. I think Amazon would rather not have you calling. But I think multiple contact methods will improve conversion. So these are some fundamentals of e-commerce. Now, the nice thing about what we're talking about here is that any size website can do this. You don't have to be in Amazon to do these fundamentals. I'm not talking about writing, very detailed script and code that tells you everything about your web users. But cover these fundamentals, and you're going to go a long way to being successful.
Well, let's talk about the actual buying experience itself. Once they've gone onto the website and you've already thought through what your user is going to do, what is your customer going to do, let's talk about the buying experience. When you're ready to say, I want this now, how does the online retailer, the e-commerce merchant go through that and make it easy to get repeat visitors?
Well, there's no accident that Amazon is the most successful e-commerce website in the world, and they have that one-click buy software on their website. That's not an accident. Those are related to usability and the brand because it's simple on Amazon. And once you get set up and get deep into Amazon and other sites like Zappos, it's very easy to purchase. But there's some fundamental things that people still don't do on their websites, even large e-commerce websites. Number one is give people the option of registering or purchasing. Don't make it something that's required that they have to register to purchase. Give them the option. Also, don't force any pre-selection of menu items prior to purchase. Okay, let them go ahead and put the product they want into their shopping cart. Then give them some options as far as the color and the size and that sort of thing. If you force people to do that before they put it in the shopping cart, it's a usability disaster because people will miss, they'll miss that you have to select the color or their size. They just see the t-shirt and they want the t-shirt. Boom, put it in my cart. And then when I go through the ordering process, I'll select the size and the color. And
that also helps out on the other end from logistical errors and issues when your customer says, this is the wrong size, I want to return it.
That's true. Absolutely. Keep the shipping prices fair and free as much as possible. The trend on the web really is to have fair pricing and free shipping as opposed to low prices and shipping, which was something that used to be done. Amazon has shipping options, and if you're $25 or over, they give you free shipping, but it's going to take a little longer to get to you. That's a great way to go. I would copy Amazon 100%.
And that's just building it into your business plan there as far as your pricing structure. Just build the shipping into your pricing and make it easy, and you don't have to worry. You can offer free shipping.
I think it's a good way to go. I really do. Also, drive repeat visits to your website. And this is important because of the trend on the web. And you see this on the social networking sites like Facebook, where most of the people are watching Facebook and not contributing. Well, people do the same thing on e-commerce sites. Lots and lots of visits before they make a purchase. And so you have to build a site that encourages repeat visits and also engages them into your social network or into your email program. Because you got to realize that one visit to your site really doesn't mean that much. 2, 3, 4 visits means a lot, and you might need all those visits before you get a sale. So build into your strategy here a way to get repeat visits. I think in a lot of ways, those repeat visits are as important as your online brand, because if your website's easy to use and it's professional looking and it obviously looks safe and secure, people will buy from it. They definitely will. We've seen that with our clients, but they may not buy on their first visit. So be ready to bring them back again. And consider that people are using the internet now to research so thoroughly. I mean, we have a world of information about products at our fingertips before we go to buy. So allow them to do that research, expect them to do the research, and then build into your strategy ways for them to come back and buy from you when they're ready.
You know, the other thing on the actual buying experience is add-on sales. Amazon does a pretty good job of that. If you're looking at a certain book, they'll say, hey, other people that have looked at this book bought this book. You may be interested in that. Now, that's before, or during your shopping experience. However, what I've noticed on GoDaddy.com, for people that are looking at buying domains and buying hosting, when they buy a domain, they may just say, hey, I'm just going to buy a domain because I want it. I may be using it in a year. So they purchase the domain. They go through the purchasing process, and then at the end, after they already checked out, GoDaddy says, hey, have you thought about the email package or the hosting package or these things? And it's just a one click to add it back into your cart and charge your card. It's very, very simple, because you might say, maybe I could set that up right now. Oh, that's a good price. And so they offer the specials right then and there to collect the add-on sales. Yeah,
Amazon really was the leader in that, and they do a great job. And I think that it's really helpful to people. I know when I buy on Amazon, I rarely buy one thing. The other part of this too is I know that if I get one product, I'm probably not going to get the free shipping. But usually, if I get two products, I'm going to get it, because their price points are $10 to $15. Two products going to put me over, and I get the free shipping. So I'm always looking to bundle things together. The thing about e-commerce marketing is that you've got to put time into it. I mean, it's time or money. You can't just build a website and let it go. So if you don't have the technology that Amazon does to put a cookie on a computer and recognize you and know all the things it does, you can go through your website and be smart about how you pair up products. And you can also look at your order history, and even if it's manual, you can pair products up based on order history, and you don't have to do it dynamically like Amazon does. They spend millions of dollars on development, right? So that's really one of the bottom lines with e-commerce is it's either going to be your money or your time. But if you're smart, it can be your time, and you can do this in a cost-effective manner.
So in addition to really spending the time, what are some other action items for our listeners?
Yeah, we'll wrap up with that. That's I would say that understand this whole process of e-commerce and understand it from the stats and from usability. You really can't know enough about that. And then one thing I really want to stress here in the action item is don't copy another website because you like it. Do what works with your users and what drives conversions. We've had several clients this year who pick an e-commerce website and they love it because they're a fan of that site. But it's not a perfect e-commerce website. It's not, and by being perfect, it would be a 10 out of 10. We'd call it a site that meets the needs out of 10 out of 10 users. And so they might have us not, have registration not be optional. Or one of the things we see is when you click on a product, it adds it to the shopping cart, but the page doesn't change. So the user doesn't know it's been added to the shopping cart. And that starts a whole series of usability issues like putting too many products in your cart, not finding your cart, not knowing that product was in the cart and then shopping for it again. When someone clicks on a product, do what Amazon does. It takes you right to the cart. And then you can continue shopping from there. And then you can go back to the cart if you need to. There's a big button. But don't do what other sites do just because you like the site. Do what's right for your business.
Do when you're looking at copying the site, it's what do you like about the site, I think, is more the functionality of how it works as opposed to copy this site.
Yeah.
It's more copying the user experience that you have as a user onto your website.
And realize, like I said, e-commerce web stores are always under construction, always being improved upon. Every day you work on the site to improve it. And when in doubt about a decision to make, just keep it simple. If you have a decision to make, weigh the two options. What's more complex? What's more simple? And go with the route that's more simple, and that'll help your conversions.
Well, wonderful. Thanks so much, Tom. And once again, we're putting it out to everybody. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to tackle or any questions that you may have, feel free to contact us, and we'll be happy to address that in our upcoming podcast. Thanks so much for joining us.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com.